there's also, 3-mile and 6-mile races on roads, and you do a half marathon, then the marathon. An ultra race is everything past 26.2 miles, and people who do ultras, in Finland, they say, the longer the race, the dumber the man, or woman. So, in terms of your running, how did you start running ultras? Why do you run ultras? Can you connect with things in this movie? And if so, what?
So yeah, I definitely connect with a lot going on. I was sitting there next to Jenny crying twice during the film. Excellent job. Thank you for making it. It means a lot. I started running ultras simply because I trained for my the New York City Marathon 4 years ago, and I was like, oh, there's a 60K 2 weeks later. Why not? And so that was my first ultra, and ultras are different because road racing up to the marathon level, there's a lot of focus on the time, the finish. It's exhausting, the training, because you're so worried about hitting paces in different workouts. Ultras are different because it's much more part of the process of just getting there and finishing. And the community aspect is what really draws me to it, because in road racing, you're often worried about beating the guy next to you when you get past. You're worried about your place, your overall pace and whatnot. I just consider it a blessing to be out there with all the rest of these people doing this ridiculous thing together. And I do it because it makes me feel a part of, as opposed to apart from everyone. And self-transcendence. It's getting out of myself and feeling interconnected with the universe. I don't get that in any other way except for when I go out and run a ridiculous distance in the same way. And so that's why I do it.
Do we have any other ultra runners in the audience?
Yeah.
Couple. So, not that you can speak for them, but, what's your pitch to the rest on why they should try an ultra? Because again, it is totally different than like all the stuff you see about running culture and all the stuff you've got to do to really nail a marathon. It's totally different with ultras. I mean, you can go, one of the best things with ultra training is that you also have to learn how to eat and run. So it's like running through the city, you're going to Dunkin' Donuts, you're going to pizza places, if you're vegan, you're, probably not eating much during the city runs, but talk about that and talk about why people should experience the ultra as a different way to approach life.
So actually, not to be contrarian, but I don't tell everyone that they should do it because I don't think that it's for everyone. It is something that I do as part of who I am on a daily basis now, but I don't believe it's necessarily things that everyone should do. That being said, if you enjoy eating and then running a bit and then eating some more, obviously it's great. But because the ultras are so much less focused on your time, because nobody knows. Like you say, I just ran a 50-mile race. Nobody asks you, oh, did you do it in 4 hours or did you do it? It was like, why? Why would you do that? So removing the time allows me to focus just on the doing at the individual moment. Allows me to run and appreciate the feeling of my feet on the ground, the feeling of the air in my lungs, the presence of the people around me, and it's not focused on an end goal as much as it's just focused on being able to enjoy the run for the run's sake at any given moment. And I think that that's something that the ultra community has, that road racing, as much as I love road racing, I'm looking forward to the marathon next weekend, but it's just completely different. So if you enjoy the running for the running's sake, I would definitely encourage anyone to give an ultra a try.
Nice. David, what has the Prospect Park Track Club given you? It's not just a plug for Prospect Park, but there's a lot of running clubs in the city, and they add something pretty unique to the lifeblood of the city.
Well, it's really the spirit of the club. This is my captain, by the way, of the Prospect Park Track Club. And I love the support of the club. They have meetings, they have a forum on the internet, they have a support system, they have special perks for doing the marathon, they have special buses, and they look out for everyone. You go to a race, they do the bag check, and everyone's so friendly and supportive. I do not so many runs with the club because of I live far from Prospect Park. But when I go, I'm so welcome, And people actually there know my name, I come in, I get hugs, I get high fives. And because of them, I was able to break a 10-minute mile, which for me is quite spectacular. And it's just a great organization. I recommend people that don't even live near the area just join because of the resources the club offers.
I was in San Francisco last week, running by I grew up in the Bay Area. I was running by the Embarcadero, and I saw someone running in a Prospect Park track club. And I said, "You're not from Brooklyn, are you?" He's like, "Yeah, I am." Like, are you really the Prospect Park Track Club? He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, great." It's great. I thought maybe he just got a shirt from someone. Does anybody have any questions about Prospect Park Track Club or what they saw? Usually people ask, like, why did I make this movie? I've lived in Jamaica, Queens since 1997. I used to run track competitively at 800 meters in a mile. The idea of doing a marathon was just, I couldn't fathom why anybody would run 26 times a mile, and I hated the mile. That was too long. And I would run by this course every day when I ran, and I wouldn't want to see them because like they scared me. Like, not only were they doing something that I couldn't comprehend, but they looked a lot happier running than I ever was. And after years of watching, getting to know some of the runners, like Ashby Hanal, who's now done it 14 times, he's going to come back next summer to do it the 15th time. And get this, he did 6-day races in Ward's Island. Anybody been to Ward's Island? Especially in the 90s, right? It was like, there was a psychiatric hospital there. There were rats that wouldn't make it through the door here. It was just that you were running 6 days, 24 hours a day around a loop. He did 6-day races, 10-day races, park races in Flushing Meadows. There were also 6 and 10 days. He's run 53,100 miles of racing on the streets of New York City. That's the New York City Marathon, I think 2,022 times. It's like running a marathon, racing a marathon a week here in the city for 39 straight years. And so people just aren't crazy enough to be able to do that. Like, you can't use your mind, you can't use your will to do that. There has to be something deeper. And I noticed that in the race, and I realized, like, that's something I wanted. That's what you just described. It's like, separate yourself from the time. Separate yourself even from the distance. Try to use running as a teacher. And then when I went to meet Sean Martin, who's a friend of a friend, and Sean said right away, running is a celebration of life. Running is a prayer. Running is a teacher. None of my coaches have ever said that before. No, I know at your next meeting you'll be like, why do we in Brooklyn run? We run because running's a prayer. When you're on the road in Prospect Park, your feet are on Mother Earth, you're breathing in Father's kind. Everybody would be like, Adam. Take it. Because, I've had a lot of conversations with Sean and the other Navajo and other Native Americans who say, like, we hate